everybody to Talladega Super Speedway. My name is Josh Hall, and you're watching the Jimmy Crow Sr. Talladega 125 from Talladega Super Speedway, put on by Jimmy Crow and brought to you today by Fort Worth Screen Printing, who's put up some money, and we've got a little money race going on today. It's going to be a very, very fun event for you guys to watch. We have a 125-lap feature from Talladega. The top 30 are going to make it in on time, and then they're going to be a heat race for the additional 13 cars to make the field. So this should be a lot of fun. The pole winner is going to win $15. There's some more money on the line, as first place is going to win $225, second place $125, and third place $90. So a great little event here. Thank you for joining us here on Intensity Broadcasting. I know Max Speed TV was going to do this race for them today, but Bobby had some family issues, so we do apologize, and hopefully things are good with his family. Our thoughts and prayers are with Bobby and his family over at Max Speed TV. I do run in the Super Speedway series on Tuesday night, so I do know who Bobby announces that league as well for us, so our thoughts and prayers are with him. But we got about a minute left in practice here, and we have quite the field of drivers here. As it looks like we've got about 46 drivers trying to make the field here for this big money race, and it should be a lot of fun to watch. And these ARCA cars, the unique package here. Remember the old days, the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series used to run these as well with the Wickers on top, so definitely underpowered, but a lot of fun, a lot of drafting. Doesn't have that new draft model that the Cup cars have that a lot of people do and don't like. But this should be fun. This does have the new damage model, though, so when these cars do crash, and we will have the big one, I'm sure, it's going to be spectacular. So I'm looking forward to this race in general, as we've got some of the best super speedway racers on iRacing here in this event, as we got about 3 seconds left in practice here, and we're going to slide on over to qualifying. So thank you for joining us, whether you're watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch. Let us know who you're cheering for. Let us know who you're rooting on. We do have the chat up, and Dean Wilkinson says, thanks for the broadcast, Josh. Dean, thank you for watching and enjoying, and thank you for letting me run with you guys on Tuesday night, because that means a lot to let me to join in with you guys and have somebody to run with, so I do appreciate it. We take a look. First car out on track is Logan Helton. Karen Gruber says, hi, everybody. Karen, it's good to see you. So we're going to have a 5-minute qualifying session. These guys are going to have 1 lap to get qualifying done. And in that 1 lap, whoever gets the fastest time tonight will win themselves $15, which, hey, that's a bit of money towards iRacing. As we're taking a look at Seth Groover on track right now in the 02. Very reminiscent of Tony Stewart's machine. I know him and his brother are both running those Joe Gibbs colors. Yeah. Home Depot Coca-Cola machine, and I know that Patrick is running the Interstate Batteries Coca-Cola machine, so that's a cool little tribute that those guys are running right there. As we see Patrick out on track right now, and still waiting for someone to put down their first time. Here comes Patrick across the line. He'll start his green flag lap. Talladega, the longest of the super speedways at 2.66 miles. I should say longest of the real super speedways, because iRacing does have iRacing Super Speedway, but as we know, that is a fictional track, as that one is much longer. But yeah, 2.66 miles here, high speed tri-oval, uniquely set up with the start finish line actually past the tri-oval here, which allows for some great finishes and great racing as Patrick Gruber's going to come across the line here. Right now, Sebastian Martin and Tracy Weaver first and second, but Sebastian's got the pole, even though they ran almost identical times. Both of them ran a 51.68. So identical times from those two. See who else is on track right now. We've got Eric Laurie out on track. He just finished up his lap. Well, we got Robbie Singleton going backwards here. Seems like everybody has finished up their qualifying lap. We got Michael Wilkes on track. He's just finishing up his lap. Didn't record a time though. LG Whately on his flying lap now. As you see at the top of the screen where your favorite driver is in the running order right now. Again, a couple cars left to qualify, so these positions could slide around a little bit. And these guys, normally the Super Speedway Kings, they run open set. These guys are running a fixed set tonight. And you can tell they're running a fixed set because right now the difference between first place and 32nd place is 1/100th of a second. CLG come across the line here, and he's going to move himself up to 8th place. Paul Sheldon just finished his lap. He ran a 51.85. Raymond Rittenor out on track right now. Just finished up his qualifying attempt. He's going to move up into the 5th spot. And Andrew Schroeder and Crystal King are the only two that have not qualified, as qualifying has ended. And as I mentioned, there's going to be a little bit of a heat race here. An 8-lap heat race between the top 16 to A, set the field, and B, let's take a look and see the grid of this heat race here. Starting on pole of the heat race will be Stefan Osensky with Bud Steele in the 6 machine on the outside. Then Russell McCarron and Jimmy Reynolds in your second row. Daniel Holloway and Les Levy in the 62 round out row 3. Russ Hancock in the 44 and David Overstreet in the 46 will make up row number 4. And Jeffrey Clifton and Randall Richard is row number 5. Paul Sheldon in the 52 machine, he'll roll off 11th, and David Bingle in the 13 will roll off 12th. And then Tom McAllister, Luke Gray, Crystal King, and Andy Schroeder will round out the field for this heat race. Again, this is an 8-lap heat race. Only 13 cars will move on to the show. That means that 3 cars will be going home. We're just waiting for everybody to grid up. I see Andrew Schroeder has not taken the track yet, so that's what we're waiting for right now. And with an 8-lap heat race, this is going to get wild and crazy here. As, like I said, only 13 people can advance. So these guys are going to be racing hard for position to try to get into the show. Because if you can't make the show, you can't win the money. See the pace car starting to roll. Here comes the formation lap here. And again, I see the people watching on the YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch. Drop a like. I see Seth saying hi, Mom. Let us know who you're rooting for today. I know Karen's got 2 cars she's rooting for today, being the 01 and the 02. Again, today's race brought to you by Fort Worth Screen Printing. For all your screen printing needs. Dean Wilkinson says, come on, Bud Steele, get her done. Bud's on the outside row. And personally, I like the outside of the Super Speedway. I feel like you get a little better run on that high side. You can control things a little better. You can pinch that car on the bottom down a little more. You can work that side draft a little bit better. And if something was to happen, I feel like you have more of an escape route on the high side than you do the low side. As the high banks of Talladega tend to be a self-cleaning track. So as the cars, if they do get into an accident, they tend to slide down to the bottom. So being on that high side, to me, feels like a bit of a safety net. The cars slowly work through turns 3 and 4 here as we're getting ready to go green flag racing in the heat race here to see who's going to qualify into the main feature. Stefan Osensky slowly brings him down as the pace car is getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn on the pit lane. Again, uniquely shaped track here at Talladega. The start-finish line is way past the end of the tri-oval, so we'll see these cars wait quite a bit before hitting the green flag here. As these cars come into the starting zone. Green flag's in the air, and we're racing here in our heat race. As they're side by side coming into turns 1 and 2. Looks like Stefan's got just the nose on Bud Steele. And again, if you're those first couple cars, it's kind of where you want to be. You want to be up the front. You want to make sure that you stay out of trouble. You want to make sure that you advance yourself into the feature. Side by side, now that bottom line really formed well. That top line starting to form up. But the energy is really on the bottom side right now as they got 5 cars nose to tail on the bottom. Now 6 cars as see the 13 jump down there. It's Dave Bingle jumping down to the bottom side, seeing the energy on the bottom. But that 6 of Bud Steele starting to slide backwards, but now he's got some help here. He's got a good push now from the 46 machine of the 40 machine of Jimmy Reynolds. As we complete lap 1. And Russell McCarron almost had Stefan clear there, but not quite, as he's got a big push now on the high side. And 3 wide in the back. And the last 3 cars are not going to advance, so everybody's just kind of feeling each other out, seeing how the cars are drafting. Not making any silly moves, as there's a lot of time left as we're coming to just 6 laps left in this heat race. And right now, Crystal King in the 278, she's on the outside looking in, along with Andrew Schroeder and Randolph Richard. As we come across the stripe here, Russell McCarron's going to lead that lap on the high side, but here comes on the bottom side Daniel Holloway in the 21 machine. Got down in front of Stefan Olnecki. Or Secchi, excuse me. Now we're starting to see that high side starting to form up a little bit. Crystal King all the way in the back, up in that high side. She's starting to see the movement coming. As that bottom lane's really starting to break up, and you can see that high lane starting to form up a little bit better, and you should see that energy come from the high side. Right now, Daniel Holloway in the 21. He's right there in that rocking chair. He's in the front row here, as Bobby would call it, the rocking chair. But he's in the catbird seat. He doesn't have any pressure right now from that high side. And you see a 62 of Les Levy in that third spot on the bottom, trying to get to the back bumper of the 088. Trying not to push that 088 though, because you don't want to be the guy to push the pusher. You can lean on the car in front of you if he's got nobody in front of him, but if the car in front of you is pushing, you definitely do not want to push the pusher. As now we're starting to see some 3-wide formation on the high side. That's Luke Gray, and I believe the 62. Sorry, this is the 52 of Paul Sheldon on that high side, trying to make something happen. As we've got 4 laps to go, 3x3x3. This is what you guys came to see, the 3-wide racing. Right now, again, on the outside looking in, you got Andrew Schroeder, Crystal King, and Thomas McAllister. Those are your 3 hoping to be able to transfer. Front though, Daniel Holloway still on that high side. Here comes the middle lane. That's the 16 of Russell McCarron. He's getting a great shove right now as we come across the line for 3 to go. And now that high side Luke Gray gonna lead that lap. Again, leading a lap doesn't get you anything here, as Luke's gonna go from the top all the way down to the bottom. I'm sure he's going to be doing a little mirror drive and seeing where the energy's coming from to keep himself up front. And here comes the 16 of Russell McCarron again on that middle lane. As they work their ways through turn 3 and 4. Again, still Tom McAllister, Crystal King, Andrew Schroeder on the outside looking in. And I'm kind of surprised that Crystal's laying back. Oh, big wiggle. We got a problem. Big wreck. The 29 got turned from behind. No caution. As in the heat race, we're not going to have any cautions. Daniel Holloway out in front now. Tom McAllister. A little bit of damage, but he's moved himself into the second place. And now on the outside looking in, you've got Luke King and Paul Sheldon, unfortunately. And Crystal King, as I was saying before, laying back, staying out of trouble, hoping for something to happen in front of her, and that's exactly what happened. As Daniel Holloway now way out in front, as he's going to take the white flag here. See the smoke from the remnants of the big crash we just had at the start-finish line. As Tom McAllister, as we saw before, had a bit of damage, so he's not going to be able to catch Daniel here. And pretty much everybody except for these guys back here. You've got Jimmy Reynolds, David Bingles, Stefano Secchi, and Jeffrey Clinton. They're the only cars that are really together as a group, but it's not really going to matter, as that big wreck did take out a lot of contenders here, and looks like the 3 that are going to be knocked out are going to be Paul Sheldon, Andrew Schroeder, and Luke Gray, as to the stripe across the line. Daniel Holloway gets the win in your heat race. Tom McAllister is going to come home in second. Crystal King coming through the tri-oval now. She's going to come home in third. Then you've got this group here: Russ Hancock, Stefano Secchi, David Bingle, Jimmy Reynolds. So they're going to have some issues across the line there. Then here comes Jeffrey Clifton across the line for 8th. Randolph Richard coming home in 9th. Les Levy in 10th. Bud Steele limping it home. Maybe. That was David Overstreet getting around Bud there. There's Bud and Russell McCarron. And Paul Sheldon's going to come across the line to make it into the show, I think. Have to see where everything rounds out here. Let's take a look at the official grid. Donaldson Dusky on pole with Dean Wilkinson on the outside. Donaldson Dusky is going to be winning that $15 for the pole. Josh Millam in third and Mitchell Wilkes in the fourth spot. LG Whately rolling off in fifth with Jimmy Crow Jr. In the 17 machine, he'll be rolling off sixth. Logan Helton and Everett Lane will make up row 4. Raymond Rittenor in the 87 and Brian Wang will round out row 5. Gabe Button in the 88 machine, he'll be in the 11th spot with Tracy Weaver rolling off 12th. And Sebastian Marin, he'll be rolling off 13th with Kenneth Mickinsill in the 51, the outside of him. Randy Miner, the 101, in the 15th spot with Dude Conrad in the 8 machine, rolling off 16th. Justin Botello in the 64 machine, he'll be rolling off 17th with Larry Borrell rolling off 18th. Nineteenth, we'll see John Garrett and Patrick Groover for the 10th row. And then Riley Roush and Mark Mann in the 11th row. Seth Groover. Giovanni Acapelli. I apologize, I butchered that name. Will be in 23rd and Seth Groover in the 24th spot. 25th, we'll see Chris Davis and Eric Laurie in the 26th spot. Michael Taylor in the 3 and Paul Witt will make up the next row as Colin Bauer and Robbie Singleton will round out row 15. Daniel Holloway and Tom McAllister will be 31 and 32nd. Crystal King, Russ Hancock, 33rd and 34th respectively. In the 35th spot, David Bingle in the 13. And Stefan Oseski in the 088 will be rolling off 36th. 37th, Jimmy Reynolds. 38th, Jeffrey Clifton. 39th will be Randolph Richard and Les Levy in the 20th row. 21st row will be David Overstreet, Bud C. Steele, and rounding out the field will be Russell McCarron. Do see a couple cars starting from the pits here. I don't know if that's just strategy or they missed the start here. We're getting ready to go green flag racing, 125 laps here at Talladega Super Speedway for some big money. As Donald Sandusky is going to lead them down to the starting zone with Dean Wilkinson on the outside of him. Green flags in the air. And we're racing here at Talladega Super Speedway in the Jimmy Crow Senior Talladega 125. And already Donaldson Dusky getting a good shove from behind. Dean Wilkinson, no help. That's going to cause Dean a little bit of problems here. Hopefully Dean will be able to tuck down or at least get some help here as these cars get wound up. Coming off of turn number 2, down the backstretch, and you're already seeing cars 3 wide and spreading out behind Right now, Donaldson Dusky, Josh Millam, and LG Whately are going to make up your top three. Now, Dean's starting to get a little bit of push from the 17 of Jimmy Crow Jr. And right behind them, you got Everett Lane in that 24 machine. As LG's going to jump up in front of Dean here. He's going to hope Dean is going to push him here to the front. We come down the short street into the tri-oval here. And your leader of lap one is going to be LG Whately with a great push from behind. And one car up into the wall already having a little bit of issues. That looks like the 02 of Seth Groover having some issues. And we see a couple cars diving down to the apron, falling to the back, trying to stay out of trouble because they can already see the storm of ruin. That's side by side. For the lead, you've got Donaldson Dusky on the bottom, LG Whately on the top. Both with great pushers. Josh Millam pushing Dusky and Dean Wilkinson pushing Whately as they come through the tri-oval for the second time. Now already the pack really separating as we see a bunch of cars towards the back. Starting to fall off the pack. I don't know if they're had some issues back there or they're just trying to stay safe. Now Wilkinson with some help on the high side, taking up to that third lane. That's the 17 of Jimmy Crow Jr. They're making it to the 3 wide down the back stretch as Everett Lane's going to now push on Whately. And the 63 of Logan Helton coming into the picture as well. As Jimmy Crow Jr. and Dean Wilkinson are just going to slide backwards as they got no help back there and everybody else is really formed up. But here comes the energy to the high side as LG makes that move with Everett to the top. Nice to see the 63 again and Logan Helton to that high side. They're going to be 3 wide as they come across the stripe and into turn number 1. Folks, this is the kind of racing that gets my heart pumping. Anytime I can see 3 wide. That's the 21 of Daniel Holloway. He's sneaking up through the middle here. Moved himself up into the top 10. And now Josh Millam is your current leader in that 7 machine in the middle row. And here comes Donaldson Dusky down on the bottom side. I see Dude Conrad now up in the mix. He's giving a big shove to Josh Millam. As we see that third lane really starting to struggle out here tonight. Usually that third lane, you can get a couple cars up there and make some moves, but tonight it just does not seem too strong. Everybody who's jumped up there is kind of fallen back. See Josh Millam go from the middle lane down to the bottom lane. Saw that energy out of the 19 of Sandusky. He felt like he jumped down there and I do apologize for the lots of car noise and having a hard time hearing me. I'll fix that for you now. And I do apologize, but thank you, Karen, for letting us know. Josh Millam finding where the energy's coming to make sure he can get himself and keep himself up in front. But now Dude Conrad working that middle lane with a great push from Donald Holloway. Trying to take over that top spot. As you see Jimmy Crow Jr. up on the high side all by himself. Nobody really working with him there. He's starting to fall back. Crystal King already up into the 8th spot. She's making some moves here in the early portions of the race. She is already up 25 spots. And Russell McCarron up 34 spots from the start. So a couple big movers already in the field as now that third lane's starting to try to come together. Oh, we got some problems a little further back as the yellow flag is out. Looks like have to go back and take a look at our wreckage replay to see exactly what happened here in this incident. Quite a few drivers involved in this as well. As we'll take a look here. It looks like LG Whately was caught up in this as well. As a big stack up in that middle lane. LG runs into the back of the 15. That's going to turn him around up into the wall and just starts filling up the track right in front. Those three cars, as I mentioned before, it's a self-cleaning track, so what goes up must come down, as they're going to slide back down in front of the field. '88 of Gabe Butler involved, Dean Wilkinson. The 20 involved as well. See if we can take another look at that, maybe from the blimp, and see exactly what happened here. Yeah, just that big checkup on the middle lane, and 99 of LG gets into the back of the 15. That is Jeffrey Clifton. Looks like the 40 car involved as well. Jimmy Reynolds. Gabe Butler involved. So now it looks like most of our field is on pit road. As pit road is a busy place right now. A couple cars having to use their early resets, unfortunately. But up front, Donald Sandusky stays out, along with Raymond Rittner, Tracy Weaver, Russell McCarron, Josh Millam. So a bunch of cars staying out, trying to do a little gamble here. Your top four did not pit. But here at Talladega, tires don't really mean as much as a track like a short track or some other tracks here on iRacing. Darlington, for instance. The tire wear here isn't as bad, so right now most of those guys are more concerned about topping off their fuel and making it further than anybody else. 125 laps is a long race, so these guys are going to have plenty of time to make those spots up that they lost in the pits. Max Mean Grimes says, "Hi guys, enjoy racing. I enjoy you coming and watching it here in Intensity Broadcasting." And Tammy Helton says, "Hello everyone, good luck to all the drivers. Go 63, so we know who she's rooting on tonight." Don't forget, if this is your first time watching a race on Intensity Broadcasting, we broadcast 5 to 6 times a week. So go ahead, drop a like, follow, subscribe. Again, Max Speed TV was supposed to broadcast tonight, but Bobby had a family issue come up at the last second. So our thoughts and prayers here from everybody here at Intensity Broadcasting is with Bobby. And hopefully everything is all right, as we see a couple more cars pop into the pit lane here. Tracy Weaver, Russell McCarron, Brian Wang, Stefan Osecki, Bud Steele, Kenneth Miskell, Riley Roush, Dean Wilkinson comes back in. So I think everybody's kind of going in to either get some repairs done from earlier, or they are looking to top off a little bit more to try to stretch that fuel run a little bit better, as the lights on the pace car are off. We're going to be going back to green flag racing this time by. And at the bottom of the screen, you see the little pit stop. That's cars are on pit road right now. It's only got the first 3 letters of the driver's name. The running clock is how long they are on pit road for, and the time that you see is how long their pit stop was. So up front, Donald Sandusky still leads this race right now, with Raymond Rittner on the outside. Josh Millam, Logan Helton in the second row. Dude Conrad, Sebastian Martin will be rolling off in row 3, and Daniel Holloway and David Overstreet, the 4th row. And your top 10 is going to be Randy Minor and Crystal King. Again, Crystal making some big moves here, up 33 spots. A lot of big movers. Daniel Holloway up 24 spots. Crystal King 23. David Overstreet 33. Richard Randolph sitting back in 15th. He's up 24 spots. Jeffrey Clifton in the 15. He's in 17th, up 21 spots. Bud Steele up 22 spots. So quite a few movers here at the beginning of the race. But anytime you've got that many big movers forward, that means you've got some big movers backwards as well. So we'll have to see guys like Everett Lane, Mitchell Wilkes, LG Waitley, guys who were up at the front earlier, Patrick Groover. See if they can work their way back to the front as the pace car takes that hard left-hand turn, getting ready to pull back on the pit road. So we can go back. Green flag racing here at Talladega Superspeedway. Donald Sandusky is going to lead them back to the restart zone. So he gets ready to hit that accelerator. Green flag back in the air. And we're back to racing here at Talladega Superspeedway, and another great push from Josh Millam right on the beginning of the start here on Sandusky. But looks like Rittner got a little better jump on the high side, but not getting quite the push that Sandusky was getting here. Now they're side by side for the lead as they take that long drive down the back straightaway. And it looks like Rittner is going to take the lead here and drop down in front of Sandusky. But now on the high side, you've got the 63 Logan Helton getting a big shove from Sebastian Marin. And also the 46 David Overstreet and Crystal King sneaking up on that high side, trying to get something working out there. Again, it does take about a lap and a half to 2 laps for these cars to really get wound up and get up to full speed. But right now, Rittner leading that lap, but here comes Helton on the high side with that great push as they come through turns 1 and 2 onto the backstretch. And can they get that high side, that momentum, keep it wound up on the high side to get that big run down the backstretch? It looks like the 63 might be almost clear. No, he's not quite clear, as the 23 was doing a great job giving him a push. From that angle, they looked clear, but they weren't quite. Because now we've got Jimmy Crow up on the high side getting a big push as they're going 3 wide a little further back. I wonder if anybody's going to jump up there with them to try to get that run going. As you see, the field really spread out. I don't know if they're expecting another crash or what, but looks like your top 20 cars you could throw a blanket over, and then everybody else just kind of falling back and taking it easy. I mean, it is a long race. It's 125 laps. As Logan Helton has snuck into the lead by just a nose, but here comes Jimmy Crow. And not really sure who that is. Push on the outside. It says the 7 on the screen, but that's Justin Botello on the high side. It looks like Crystal King's going to jump up there to that high side as well. So we're going to have a 3-way battle here for the lead, 3 wide, as we go into turns 1 and 2. And what a push that Jimmy Crow is getting on that high side from Botello. And again, Crystal King sneaking up there, trying to make something happen, trying to help that high lane get something moving. And the 47 of Randolph Richard also on that high side a little further back, trying to make his way up there, see if he can help out. A lot of movement through the field as they come off of turn 4 and into the tri-oval. And your tri-oval's tricky. There's a big bump. It really flattens off down at the bottom of the tri-oval, so it can get treacherous down there for that inside line. That high lane really has the advantage through the tri-oval. As we see him 3 by 3 by 3 by 3. 4 rows deep. And now we've got 5 cars up on that high side. The 21 of Donald Holloway jumped up into the high side in front of Crystal King, trying to make something happen. Now Crystal King struggling just a little bit. She's going to tuck down into the middle lane behind the 15 of Jeffrey Clifton. So right now, Raymond Rittner all by himself on that bottom side. He's got the lead, but here comes Logan Helton on that middle lane with a great run. And Logan's actually going to lead that lap. Here comes Patello diving down to the middle line. Had a little hole. Must have been getting a little hot. Had to get off Jimmy Crow's back bumper and move himself up a position. Is he going to jump up? Yes, he is going to jump up in front of Jimmy Crow. So his engine must have been getting kind of hot. Now he's hoping Jimmy's going to give him the same shove. A big wiggle out of the 63 on the middle lane. That was a big heart stop for the 23 of Sebastian Marin, who saw that out his windshield and kind of checked up that middle lane just a little bit. Here comes Patello on the high side with a big push from Jimmy Crow. These guys are racing this hard, and we're only on lap 15, coming to lap 16. We're still 3 wide up at the front. Now you see the back of the field starting to catch up a little bit as Patello jumps out from in front of Jimmy Crow. Jumps down into the middle lane. Now he's getting the shove from Logan Helton. And the 23 of Sebastian Marin giving a big push as well. And Jimmy Crow stuck on the high side all by himself. Not the place he wants to be, as he's just going to get freight train and continue to slide back as they work past the lap car of Everett Lane on the high side. Jimmy's going to tuck down in line. Hopefully we can get past the lap car with no issues. Looks like he's going to stay high. Everybody else is going to go back to 2 wide racing. And Patello out to the lead now. Here comes Rittner back to the bottom side. And one car jumping up to the high lane again, trying to bring that third lane, but he's going to think better of it. As these cars rocket down the backstretch, and seeing a lot of movement out of some of these cars. Patello is now going to jump down to the bottom in front of Logan Helton. That's Raymond Rittner, and he's going to take over that lead on the bottom side. And you know, we've seen that bottom side really be the strong side, but that middle lane is really starting to make that big wiggle out of Rittner. As here comes Logan Helton to the point. And he's clear of Patello now as they go into 1 and 2. And I think he's trying to drag his help, Sebastian Marin, around as well. But no, here he's going to drop down in front of Patello, and it's going to be another lead change here as Logan Helton now in that bottom lane is leading, but here comes Sebastian Marin. Marin is now just a nose ahead, getting a big push from the 21 of Daniel Holloway. And we see Jeffrey Clifton on that high side with Crystal King right behind him, and the Groover brothers. Groover brothers are hooked up on that high side. We know they like that high side. See if they can push their way to the front here. As that third lane now really starting to get organized up there. It looks like the Groovers are going to drop down to the middle lane. See if they can get the energy going there. Up front, it looks like that middle lane's starting to lose its energy, but some great battle in here as we see one car down on the bottom. Oh, we got a wreck in the back. Crystal King involved. Yellow flag is out. John Garrett involved as well. That's going to bring up our Fort Worth screen printing Wreckage Rewind here. We'll see if we can see exactly what happened here. I know we saw Crystal King involved in that one as well, but let's focus on John Garrett here. Looks like he's the one that got the worst of it here. Now Crystal King runs into the back of the 15. John Garrett gets caught, comes back across the track. Hard impact with the wall. See the 62 just barely sneaking by. Oh, the 51 caught up in... Oh, Eric Laurie caught up in that as well. That's the 51 of Kenneth Miskell caught up in that as well. So tough break for those guys running in the back. Crystal King getting the piece of the 15. The 15 is Jeffrey Clifton, and just nowheres to go. She didn't get checked up, wound up just in time, and things happen. Things happen so fast at Talladega, these super speedways, that sometimes you just don't have enough time to react, as it looks like the entire field is coming onto pit road again. So pit road's going to be a busy place. Eddie Morris says, always great racing in this league. Eddie, I agree. Super Speedway Kings really live up to the name with how well they can run the super speedways, and known to be the best super speedway drivers on iRacing. And then Maximilian Grimes says, pulling for you, Logan. It seems like the Alliance team members are out there. And like seeing the Alliance team members out there. And Logan's having a great run up front, as he's going to be the first one off of pit road. Looks like he might have took fuel only, as he has a 6.9 second stop. So something tells me the few guys, looks like the first 13 cars would fuel only or just right side tires. Trying to keep that track position up front. And just in front of Logan is the 24 of Everett Lane. And I believe that's Everett Lane. He is not on the lead lap. Trying to get his lap back. Yeah, that is the 24 of Everett Lane in front of the leader. So looks like he's not going to come in and pit. He's going to stay out there, get that wave around. He's going to be off cycle, so he's going to be hoping for another yellow pretty quickly to be able to get in and pit and be on the same cycle as the leaders. We'll take a quick look through the field here. Logan Helton still up in front. Seth Groover sitting in second place. Sebastian Marin in third. Daniel Holloway sitting back in the fourth spot. Russell McCarron in fifth. Raymond Rittner in that 87 machine, early leader, in sixth. Dude Conrad in the 8 machine having a great run in seventh. Josh Millam sitting in eighth. Donald Sandusky in ninth. And Patrick Groover make up your top 10. Let's go a little further through the field. Randy Miner in the 101 and 11th. David Overstreet sitting in 12th. Love the picture of the Blues Brothers. Tracy Weaver in 13th. Mark Mann. Jimmy Crow will make up your top 15. And then David Bingle in 16th. And I'm going to stop there because it looks like a few more cars are hitting pit road. So don't want to give you the wrong information, as looks like the lights on the pace car are off. There goes Everett Lane getting back onto the lead lap here. We're going to re-rack them 2 by 2 for another restart here. Again, if you're just joining us, this is the Jimmy Crow Sr. 125 from Talladega. Brought to you by Fort Worth Screen Printing. And this is a money rates. These guys do have some money on the line. $225 for first place, $125 for second, and third's going to take home $90. So some big money on the line out here tonight at Talladega. And who doesn't love big money races? Ooh. One car in the back, looks like he had a little issue there. Maybe his screen went out for a second as he went too far down to the inside, but looks like they got everything working on back there. So as these cars come through side by side, getting ready to restart here. Logan Helton going to bring him to the green flag with Seth Groover on the outside as that pace car makes that hard left-hand turn. Down on the pit road. Logan's going to bring him back to the restart zone. And the leader has choice of when he wants to go or if he wants to go on green. And there it is, green flag back in the air. And both the front row drivers getting a great start here. Logan Helton just being on that bottom side, able to get a little bit better of a run through 1 and 2. And again, it does take these cars about a lap and a half to really get up the full speed here. But here comes Seth Groover getting a big shove on that high lane by Daniel Holloway. And the 87 right behind of Ritnor, and right behind him the 7 of Josh Millam. So a couple cars who've been up front most of the day making that high lane work, and that high lane really starting to get organized a lot better than that bottom lane. So we should see that high lane start to really form up and get some drive here. As Seth Groover is going to lead that lap. And he is almost clear of Logan Helton here. Logan fighting back on the bottom side with that great push from Sebastian Marin. Oh, Dean Wilkinson lost connection. It's a tough break, Dean. As they're still side by side for the lead here. And the 0-2 of Groover pushes up just a little bit. That causes the 21 to have to check up, not to get to the inside too much and turn around Groover. Which is really easy to do. These bumpers don't match up quite as well as the newer style cars do. So you can easily get to the inside just a little bit and turn that car around in front of you. As we've just crossed lap 25, so we have 100 laps to go here. Oh, big wiggle again on that 87. We've seen that 87 have some big moments here tonight. Oh, Groover, there you go. That's what I was talking about. Groover almost gets turned there from the 21. The 21 actually had to get out of it to keep from turning around, and that's going to allow that bottom lane. Thought the bottom lane was going to get a little better run there, but the 23 just not on the back bumper. Here comes Groover and Holloway back on that high side. And even though she was involved in that last one, Crystal King already up to the 12th spot here on this restart. So making her way back up here to the front. Oh, Groover gets turned around in front of the field. Caution is out. And that looked like exactly what I was just talking about. Just a bad push there to Seth Groover. As I'm trying to find the replay here. We'll take a look at this from the blimp here. Let's go with the chopper here. And you see just that bad push from the 21. Turns Seth right into the outside wall. It's going to catch the 7 of Bengal. Dude Conrad involved as well. Crystal King sneaks through there, just barely catches the wall. Man, tough break there. Let's ride along with Crystal King, just because you'll see how fast this really happens right in front of her. We'll ride on with the roll bar here. So a bit of damage for her. Should be able to get that thing fixed up and get back out there. The real beneficiary of this, though, is Everett Lane, who stayed out earlier to take the wave around. It really worked out for him as that quick caution came and allowed him to be able to pit now and be on cycle with everybody else. I'm showing Everett back in the 33rd spot. I believe, I want to double check there here that he's on the lead lap. Yes. Nope, he's still showing 1 lap down, so he must have been 2 laps down earlier. So he was able to get one of those laps back. And now he can fight for the lucky dog. Bunch of cars coming on the pit road, though. And Karen, yes, unfortunately, I did call it. As someone who's been around super speedway racing for a very long time, you can always kind of see those things starting to happen, unfortunately. But long race left. He's got a chance to get right back up there and be in the mix. I know Seth and Patrick have a good relationship on track. And they'll be able to draft their way back up to the front as we see the lucky dog coming around. And I believe that is Everett Lane getting back on the lead lap. That's correct. So Everett Lane was your lucky dog. Gets back on the lead lap here. One of the regulators from the Super Speedway Kings. Used to seeing him up front all the time as he's coming on the pit road now. Again, thank you very much for joining us tonight for the Jimmy Crow Sr. Talladega 125 here on Intensity Broadcasting. So far, such a great race. A lot of excitement, a lot of 3-wide racing. Couple incidents here early, but that could just be a product of the car, too, is these ARCA cars, they don't have a real square back bumper and a front bumper. So it's really easy for these guys to bump a little hard, bump a little wrong, get themselves out of shape. We've seen Raymond Rittner be really loose by himself in the middle of the pack. So it looks like it's a bit of a challenge to drive tonight. Take a look at the track information. As you can see, track temperature is only 68 degrees. The weather here is a 65-degree air temperature, so not really a slick track. These guys should have plenty of grip, so could be a bit of the setup, how loose some of these cars are. As the lights on the pace car are back off, we're getting ready to go back racing here. Raymond Rittner on the outside. Dude Conrad on the outside of row 1. Dude having a great run tonight. Working his way up to the front. And how about our 5th and 6th restart here? Les Levy and Russell McCarron up 35 and 36 spots respectively. So some hard chargers here in the early goings of this race as well. Again, big payouts tonight for the winner. These guys are going for $225 to win. $125 for second and $90 for third. Money put up tonight by Fort Worth Screen Printing, sponsor of the race. So check them out. for sure. Support our sponsor. As the pace cars get ready to take that hard left-hand turn on the pit lane. We're side by side, re-racked, getting ready to restart to start lap number 30. As Rittner approaches the restart zone, green flag's back in the air. And we're back racing. Great push from Logan Helton to Raymond Rittner, keeping him out in front. And right behind them is the 16 of Russell McCarron. As that bottom lane really formed up now. And those two cars on the high side, just Dude Conrad and Sebastian Myron just not able to get something going here. As we work through turns 3 and 4, Jeffrey Clifton down that bottom lane. And Tracy Weaver in that 41 sneaking his way up in here as well. And a real spread out restart this time. Unusual restart. Usually you see these guys all packed up side by side, but the field really spread out here on this restart. Now we're starting to form up side by side as Dude Conrad's got that great push on the 63. Pushing him up to the front here. Again, you got to make sure you got to be square when you push. Else it's easy to turn that car right in front of him, as we saw in the last incident with Seth Groover. So we work through the tri-oval here. See Patrick Groover way up on the high side. Trying to make something happen up there. Because they're 3 wide. A little further back. But right now, Logan Helton and Raymond Rittner having a great battle up front side by side. Dude Conrad being the pusher. And the 16 of Russell McCarron on the bottom side as Helton's going to drop down to the bottom in front of Rittner. And here comes Dude Conrad hoping for the push, as now Rittner's going to jump to the high side in front of Dude. Dude's got to check up a little bit. He gets a big shove from the 23. Gets him a little out of shape there as they come through the tri-oval. But here comes Rittner on the high side again, trying to take the point back. And Rittner with a big dive down to the bottom. And you see that gap. Here comes the field behind him. That's going to have to... It's going to cause that bottom line. Oh, low contact between Conrad and Russell McCarron as they keep it going. That could have been a big moment there right in front of the field, but everybody keeps it straight as now they're 3 wide. Patrick Groover on that high side, that third lane, trying to make something happen. He's got some help back there. I believe that's Botello. Justin Botello on the high side. Now Justin's going to drop back in line, and that's going to keep Patrick up there all by himself. Now Patrick's got a little more help coming to him. So it looks like the 66 of Jason Garrett up there as well, trying to make that high side work. They're coming up on the lap car. That's the 13 of Dave Bengal. He's going to stay to the high side, but they're 3 wide. Hopefully they're going to be able to make it through here, as they're actually 4 wide right now as they're passing the lap car. Everybody makes it through cleanly. We see Patrick Groover trying to work that high side with the 66 Oh, looks like the 23 of Sebastian Marin jumps up in front of Groover, trying to make that third lane work. Russell McCarron now to the lead as Logan Helton leading that middle lane, and the 23 of Sebastian Marin on the high side. Sebastian's got a great run here down the backstretch. He might be able to clear these guys going into turn 3, which he's going to, but he's going to stay up. No, he's going to come down into front of the 63. That checks everybody up. We saw a couple cars with big wiggles here. But Sebastian Marin up into the front. Here comes Groover with a big push from the 66 machine. As the top 3 now work their way down to the bottom. See Patrick Groover, Randy Miner, and the 16 of Russell McCarron, all 3 wide. And now Groover gets strung out there all by himself. Unfortunately for Groover, he's just going to start falling like a brick. Up front, Logan Helton now taking the lead on that middle lane. But here comes Sebastian Marin back to the inside, trying to make it work. Great push from Dude Conrad as you see Patrick Groover again trying to drag somebody up there onto that third lane, trying to make somebody come up there with him. And now somebody does this. That's Patello. We're right along here with Justin Patello. And you see how much these cars move around in the draft. It's Patrick Groover now trying to make that high lane work. Whoops. Making that high lane work now. As he's got quite a bit of help back there. That 66 of Garrett is actually a couple laps down. He's sitting back in the 13th position, but he's helping Groover as they're 3 wide for the lead. Groover, Marin, Helton side by side for the lead now. Groover's going to fall back just a little bit as he's trying to get a little bit better of a run. Here comes the 66 with another great shove on Groover. Don't want to push him too hard. We don't want to see happen to Patrick what just happened to Seth, as Groover's going to lead this lap as they go 3 by 3 by 3 in the turn number 1. Tight formation, those top 9 cars. Throw a blanket over them as they come off of turn number 2 down the backstretch. And I'm sure Dude Conrad and Randy Miner and that 66 of Garrett, they're probably getting pretty hot now as they've been on those back bumpers for quite a while. And then right behind me, you have Patello, Millam, and McCarron in that third row. Sounds like Seth is actually done for the night as he had some issues. As we saw, he was caught up in that last one. Now Groover, that's Patrick, to the lead, dives down in front of Helton. Going to lead that middle lane now. As they come down the backstretch, he's looking for whatever energy's coming. Here comes the 66 of Garrett. Again, he's a lap down, so Groover doesn't mind letting him by, but he's watching his mirror as the 23 of Marin now down to the bottom. And then again, they're side by side for the lead. We see Garrett on that high side. He's trying to get his lap back the hard way. It's Patrick Groover now with a great shove from the 63 up into the lead. And the 63 and him are going to clear that bottom lane. Are they going to stay in the middle? Are they going to drop down to the bottom? Looks like they're going to stay in the middle here. Randy Miner now down to the bottom. He's going to try to make a run here. He's hoping for some help from the 23 of Sebastian. Working that little bit of a side draft. We saw the 63. Oh, 63 gets a bump from behind. They're loose. Garrett, again, out in front, but he's actually a lap down. They're 4 wide through turns 3 and 4. 4 wide racing as they come down the short street into the tri-oval. See, Botello's stuck out there by himself in that. Now he's going to get down into that middle lane. We're back 3 wide racing, but heart-pounding moment there as they were just 4 wide. Here at Talladega, it's wide enough to go 5 wide, but even 4 wide can be a little bit hairy. As Patrick Groover is still your leader in that middle lane. Still getting a big shove from Logan Helton. The 2 of them are clear of Garrett, and they're dragging along the 7 of Josh Millam in that middle lane. They're sticking to that middle lane. Now here comes Helton down to the bottom. They're going to dump Patrick Groover, and with no help, Groover is just going to start going backwards unless the 23 of Sebastian can catch him up. And here comes Botello on that high side, that 3rd lane. He's stuck up there all by himself. Looks like he's got a little bit of damage, so he's not able to keep up in the draft and the lead as well as some of these other cars can. And with nobody helping him out, he's just going to slide backwards right now as Logan Helton has assumed the lead here. And again, that 66 being pushed by Randy Miner. It's going to put John Garrett back onto the lead lap here. If he can get around the 63. Randy's doing everything he can to push him out there and assume the lead himself. Now the 23 of Sebastian Marin get a big push from Botello. They're on the high side. They got the 088 back there, Stefano Secchi. Earlier, Secchi was leading the race. He got caught up in an accident. Now he's up there on the 3rd lane with Botello and Sebastian. Here comes the 21 of Daniel Holloway up into that 3rd lane as well, trying to make something happen. Logan Helton still in the lead. They come down the backstretch. Oh, some contact. We got one around. Big wreck on the backstretch. Caution is out. And to me, that looked like that was a pump draft gone wrong yet again as they came off onto the backstretch. I know you can hear it and you can't see it. I'm just trying to dial it up so we can see exactly what happened here. Looks like the chopper view is probably going to be our best view here. We're getting ready to roll back the replay here and see the, it looks like the 088 caught the wall, came down into the 21 down into the 835, A7 involved as well. It's and then all heck breaks loose right behind. Some of these cars just nowheres to go as the track's just going to get blocked. Well, LG Waitley involved in that one as well. Donaldson Dusky, Tracy Weaver, Mark Mann involved, Russell McCarron, Brian Wang at the end. Tough break for some of the front runners as, man, just tough break. Was the 088 just catching the wall a little bit? And as I imagine most of these guys are going to come in a pit lane here, take fuel and tires. As you see the entire field up. Do you have one staying out there? I believe that was a lap down car staying out. You can see most of the field on pit road. Who's going to be the first car out? We Sebastian Martin, Logan Helton, Josh Millen, Patrick Groover. Is going to get off in fourth. Dude Conrad, Stefano Secchi, Jeffrey Clifton, Randy Miner, Everett Lane, Larry Boyle would be your top 10. So Everett back up into the 9th spot after being 2 laps down. Gambling taking the wave around and getting himself back onto the lead lap. Now he sees himself in the 9th position. Karen Groover says, that's some great racing 4 wide. Karen, you were right, and they were able to hold that 4 wide. Got my blood pumping. I'm sure you heard my voice get a little higher anytime you see something like that. Again, if you're just tuning in, thank you again for joining us. This is Jimmy Crow Sr. Talladega 125 on Intensity Broadcasting, brought to you by Fort Worth Screen Printing. Again, this race was supposed to be broadcast on Max Speed TV, but Bobby had a family emergency, so our thoughts and prayers are with Bobby. And hopefully he's back Tuesday for our league race. Hopefully everything turns out okay. But we are thinking about you here, as is everybody here in the race, as most of these guys run the Super Speedway Kings League. See Everett Lane jump on the pit lane here. Giving up that 9th spot to top off. Maybe playing some strategies. You see some cars in the back on pit road as well. Try to run some strategy here as it's give up a little track position for a little extra time on track. As the lights on the pace car are off, we're going to re-rack them and do it again. Karen, thank you for the kind words. I do what we can on short notice, but we want to make sure that we're taking care of everybody here. As a lot of people know, I've known Jimmy Crow's family for a long, long time. As I started iRacing in the Super Speedway Leagues, and always been a great group of guys here. I've run with most of these guys week in and week out. And it's fun to be up here in the booth again. We called the last season of Super Speedway Kings. It's fun to be able to be out here to call another race with these guys. Seth, I appreciate the great words. As the field starts rolling through turns 3 and 4, getting ready for this restart here at Talladega Super Speedway. Sebastian Martin and Logan Helton are going to be your front row, with Josh Millen and Patrick Groover on the second row. Dude Conrad, Steph Secchi in the third row. Jeffrey Clifton, Randy Miner, Donald Sadusky, and Larry Boyle will make up your top 10. So pace car makes that move, takes that left-hand turn back on the pit road. Sebastian's going to lead him back to the restart zone. And we'll see exactly what kind of speed our leader is going to have here. As you see second gear start, green flags out, hits the accelerator. We're back racing here at Talladega. Couple cars in the back making some moves already, jumping to the high side, seeing what they can do out there. But side by side, Logan Helton just with a nose. as we see the speed starting to climb. Sebastian getting a great push now from the 7 of Josh Millam. Down the backstretch, we see a couple cars with some damage out there. Still able to stay up front. We see the 088. He's got his hood all smashed in. But in the draft, that's not going to be as ineffective as if he was out there in the lead by himself. So he's able to stay up there with that smashed up car. Right now, Sebastian Marin staying out there in the front. Oh, Josh Millam gets a little loose there through the tri-oval. That's going to allow Logan Helton to get a little bit better run as he's getting pushed now by Patrick Groover. Now we're starting to see top speed as they're 3 wide a little further back. That's the 16 of Russell McCarron on that high side trying to make something happen. As speeds approach 200 miles an hour in the turn number 3. Again, Sebastian with that great push from behind. Keeping himself out into the lead. And with that damaged car, the 088 behind Patrick Groover, I wonder how much that's actually hurting that middle lane. As we see the 16 jump to the high side with, that's the 7 of Botello. Botello jumps down to the middle lane. And now it's Sandusky on the high side in front of McCarron. Trying to make that third lane do something. See the 17 of Jimmy Crowe Jr. He's up in the mix now. In that middle lane. Right behind Randy Minor. Now Botello up into that third lane. Sees the energy. Sees the movement. Trying to make something happen here on that high side. As we see the 66 of John Garrett coming back into the picture. He's back on the lead lap. Now he's not going to be mixing up to try to get his lap back. He's going to be mixing it up to try to win here. Big check up in that middle lane from Logan Helton. That's going to stack them up. Now that third lane's starting to get formed up. You see everybody jumping up the high side. Jimmy Crowe behind Botello. Trying to make that third lane. There's Crystal King up there as well. And behind them, Garrett. So, Botello makes that big, bold move to the middle lane. And there goes Jimmy Crowe with him. Now Groover to the third lane with a run. Getting a push from Sandusky. Can Groover take the lead here as they come through the tri-oval to the stripe to start lap number 52? And Groover is going to lead that lap as he's going to drop down to the middle lane now. Try to get a push here from Logan Helton. That's going to allow Sandusky to get the big push down the backstretch. And maybe Sandusky can make something happen in that third lane. Groover is looking in his mirror. Trying to make sure to keep that 63 behind him. As they are now 3 wide for the lead as they come through turns 3 and 4. Again, Botello on that high side. Jimmy Crowe in the middle. Here comes Crystal King. Having another great run up to the front here. And she's had some bad luck being up in the front here, but she's making it happen now. As we're about 10 laps from halfway here. Now they're 4 wide. Oh, that's not going to work. They got one car up on its lid. Sandusky rolling down the backstretch. That's going to bring out the yellow. Believe that was Sandusky rolling down the backstretch. We're going to have to... a few more cars involved in that as well. Behind, I see Garrett involved in that. It all started with some 3 wide racing here through turns 1 and 2. Sandusky up in that 4th lane. Get some contact made between him and Botello. He gets up on the wall, actually gets up on his side, rides the wall, rides the top of the safety barrier. You see Garrett getting pushed down, the 51, the 04 of Mark Mann. Sandusky goes for the wild ride down the backstretch. David Overstreet involved as well. Robbie Singleton. So Everett Lane, I believe was... Nope, Everett Lane made it through that, I believe. Just want to double check. Everett looks like he's got some damage, so I don't think... No, he did not make it through that. Looked like he was going to make it through it. But at the last second, just nowhere to go. I want to rewind this one more time. I want to look through this because I think it looks like Everett got caught up with that smoke there. Because the smoke here on iRacing, yeah, you can't even see. The last second, he sees that car. Tough break for him. B. Johnson says, RIP Jimmy Crowe Sr. Absolutely. Lost a great man. It's nice to see Junior keeping the legacy going and having this race in remembrance of Jimmy Crowe Sr. Take a look at Jimmy's car. Jimmy stayed out here to assume the lead. We see Jimmy Crowe Sr. on the front here of Jimmy's car. Awesome way to pay tribute. Race with respect. Something we always heard whenever you're in a Jimmy Crowe race. Now we're under yellow here. I believe the lights on the pace car are going to be going off this time. Jimmy Crowe Jr. stays out to assume the lead. We'll take a quick look at the pit strategy here. Oh, well, it hasn't cycled through yet, so we'll hide that for right now till everybody crosses the line. It's only been 9 laps since Jimmy Crowe was in last, so I don't think it's going to affect him too much. He's not going to be too far off the pit window. You see John Garrett still on pit road. He's going to start rolling now. As the lights on the pace car are going to be off this time, we're going to re-rack them and get ready to go back green flag racing. A bunch of cars towards the back. Looks like they're going to top off here before we go back green flag racing. And why not? You're in the back of the pack, might as well top off, get that little bit extra fuel. Because anything can happen. But Jimmy Crowe, Sebastian Marin, going to be your front row here as we restart. Josh Millen, Patrick Groover in the second row. Dude Conrad moving up into the 5th spot. Tracy Weaver. Round out row 3. Logan Helton, Les Levy in the 4th row. And then Randy Miner and Larry Boyle will be your top 10 here on the restart. Tammy Helton says, go Jimmy. On the YouTube. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us today for the Jimmy Crowe Sr. Talladega 125 here on Intensity Broadcasting. We do appreciate you coming out tonight, enjoying the race with us. Again, the race was supposed to be on Max Speed TV. Unfortunately, Bobby had a family emergency. And again, our thoughts and prayers are with his family. Hope everything is okay. Karen Groover says, great way to spend a cloudy day in Pennsylvania watching this wonderful tribute to Jimmy Crowe Sr. I could not agree more. It's cloudy up here in Massachusetts as well, so I'm right there with you. Though we had the strangest New England weather. We had our April snowstorm yesterday, which was fantastic to see. But typical New England weather, it's going to be sunny and 70 degrees tomorrow as the pace car takes that left-hand turn. On the pit road, we're stacked up, re-racked, and ready to get back rolling here. Getting ready to complete lap 56. Jimmy Crowe Sr. is going to lead them back to the restart zone here. So the green flag's in the air. And we're back racing. And a great start by Jimmy Crowe Jr. as well. But here comes Sebastian Marin on the outside, getting that great push from Patrick Groover. And Josh Millam just not getting the same push on Jimmy Crowe. As they rocket down the backstretch here. Side by side again. And this time it looks like the bottom lane is starting to get a little more formed up. That energy. Oh, big wiggle out of the 23 of Sebastian Marin. So it looks like he had a little bit of a bad bump draft from the 01 of Groover, but they keep it going straight. But a big moment for the 23 is now a couple cars working up into that third lane. We see Crystal King, Justin Botello up on that high side. Two of them hooking up together. Also looks like, I believe that's Logan Helton. Yes, it is, jumping up into the third lane in front of them. So now three cars up on that high side trying to make something happen. But back up front, Sebastian Marin and Jimmy Crowe Jr. side by side for the lead, coming through turns 3 and 4. And Botello and King. Oh, big wiggle. What a save from Sebastian. He got a little bit of a bump from Groover, sent him up the track, and man, what a save. As he's able to hold on to it, tuck back in. But now Groover's got no help. As you see all the energy now on the bottom side as the 23 now starting to catch back up to Groover here. And now Millam to the middle lane, trying to get a push here from Groover. And Sebastian to the third lane now in front of Helton. So we got cars making big moves all around. Tracy Weaver now in that middle lane behind Groover. As we see Millam to the lead here, diving down in front of Jimmy Crowe. Great run here up front. As we're coming to work lap 60, we're 3 wide, 3 rows deep for the lead. Here comes Sebastian Marin again on that high side, getting that great push from Helton. And Sebastian's going to lead that lap. But man, these guys are really starting to ramp up the intensity, and we're not even halfway yet. Still 3 by 3 by 3 by 3. Dude, Conrad kind of tucking the nose out a little bit. Looks like he's getting a little air to the nose. Could be overheating just a little bit. But Patrick Groover, getting the great push from Tracy Weaver here now. In that middle lane, big wiggle out of the 63 on the high lane. He's able to hold on to it. Jimmy Crowe pushing Josh Millam here. Here comes Groover with the big run. Oh, a little blink out of Jimmy Crowe. As Marin's going to lead that lap again. Looks like Marin might almost be clear of Groover, but he's going to stay up on that high side. Got to be careful with that front bumper, though. We've already saw a couple cars with a bad bump draft. These guys are really starting to get it, though, as they're Still 3x3. Here comes Marin again on that high side with the big push from Helton. But not quite able to clear each other. Also just coming into the mix now. We see Botello now coming back into the mix. Larry Boyle in that 28 machine, he's starting to come into the up to the front here. You see him working on the bottom, a 62 on your screen, 28 on my timing. As they're still 3 wide. Justin Botello does not know what lane he wants to be in. He's trying to find the lane that's moving forward. And it seems like every time he jumps into a lane, it goes another way. As I apologize, that's Larry Boyle in the 28. That is the 28 on your screen. You see the 62 of Les Levy. He's the car that's making his way up to the front here. Is now the field's really starting to come together now. That third lane, though, starting to break up. Only 2 cars up there really make anything happen. That's the 23 of Sebastian Marin and Logan Helton in the 63. Crystal King's still up there, but she's looks like she's trying to find her way down to the middle lane here. As they're still side by side for the lead, still 3 wide. And I think these guys are starting to realize that the pushing isn't really the way to go. These guys are just trying to relax as we're just past halfway. Botello still going to the high side, to the low side, to the middle side. Not really sure what lane he wants to be in right now, because every time he jumps out to the middle, it seems like that high side starts to get a little bit of run. He jumps up there, and then it starts to fall back. So Crystal King's now going to look to the high side of Botello. But up front, still Josh Millam, Patrick Groover, and Sebastian Marin running those top 3 lanes, or top 3 positions. And these top 9 cars, you can throw a blanket over them at this point. You see Crystal King now jumping to the middle lane and Botello jumping to the high side. Trying to make something happen, but just nowhere to go. This is like a 200-mile-an-hour roadblock. But again, I think these guys are just starting to settle down a little bit. Kind of feel it. They felt each other out. We have a couple cars that are torn up. These guys got some damage. Out of resets. They want to make sure they're there at the end because there's still money on the line. Your top 3 positions are going to win a ton of cash. $225 to the winner. But to win the race, you have to be there at the end. And if you're bump drafting and pushing each other and wrecking each other, you're not going to be there at the end. So these guys are starting to play it smart and just ride it out now. As we work through the trial here, coming to lap number 66. I say they're taking it easy, but they're still 3 wide as Groover gets a great shove there, gets down in front of the 7 of Josh Millam, and he's going to assume the lead here as they come through turns 1 and 2 onto the backstretch. And now the 41 Tracy Weaver going to push from Larry Boyle, try to make that middle lane work, and looked like he got a little loose there for a second, pushed up the track, but trying to make something happen here. And now Seth getting the big, Patrick getting the big push from Josh Millam down through the tri-oval and onto the front stretch. And Sebastian and Logan still making that high lanes work with just the 2 of them, which is pretty incredible considering normally you need 3 or 4 cars lined up together to really make some moves, but those two cars are able to stay up there by themselves, stay in contention, and not fall back and get freight trained. So they're doing a great job up there. We see Tracy Weaver losing a little bit of help from the 28. 28 kind of falls off just a little bit. That's going to allow that bottom lane to really start to pull away. Oh, Millam gets the apron just a little bit, and that's not where you want to be. As one car jumps to that third lane, that's Crystal King. She thought about going up to the third lane to help those guys out, but she tucks back down into the middle. But some great racing still at the front as it tightly 3x3. Botello dives to the high side. Now he's back to the middle. I don't know if he just got loose or got bumped or what happened there, but very indecisive there from Botello. That is Patrick Groover up into the front. Seth, unfortunately, is out of the race. Had some issues early in the race. Had a bump draft gone wrong, and that is Patrick up there at the point. Had Luke G on YouTube asking who that was up front there. As Patrick starting to get a great run here. Great push from Josh Millam again, keeping him up into the front. Tracy Weaver now starting to get a nose on Patrick. Oh, Jimmy Crow Jr. pushes up just a little bit in the corner there. Almost gets into the side of Botello, but they keep it going straight. But you see how much separation that put between Jimmy Crow and Josh Millam. And you don't want to push the pusher, but if you can stay right on their back bumper, that's going to be the most beneficial to them. And you see Tracy Weaver, Larry Boyle, Justin Botello lined up in that middle row, and that's what I'm talking about. Those guys will start to go somewhere because they're so tightly packed together as opposed to that bottom lane that's just starting to fall off just a little bit. But still incredibly, Sebastian Marin and Logan Helton staying on that high side. Logan's got to be getting hot. He's been pushing on that back bumper for quite a few laps now. Hasn't dropped back to get air to it, so it looks like he's going to take my advice, dump the 23 of Martin and fall back in line. Let that thing cool off. Now that 23 all alone. No, he's going to be able to tuck down into that middle lane. As now we're back to 2x2 racing, and sure the adrenaline will not be pumping quite as hard for these guys. As we see Tracy Weaver now getting the lead away from Groover and getting a big push from Groover. Everett Lane up in that third lane all by himself, a little further back. Trying to get someone to go with him to try to get himself to the front. And all it takes is one or two cars starting to get up to that third lane. Oh, a little push-up from Tracy Weaver. Almost gets inside of Botello. But they're able to keep going. Looked like there was a little bit of contact between them, but they keep going straight. And it just takes one or two cars to jump up to that third lane to entice a couple other cars to get up there. As Botello trying to take the lead away. Larry Boyle now to the point. There's action all over the track right now. Oh, Groover down on the apron. Almost got a little loose there. So you see him all fanning and spreading out behind him. But Everett Lane trying to get someone up there with him. He's like, come on, get up here with me. I want to go to the front. But nobody's taken. Here comes Botello back on that middle lane. Trying to get around the 28 of Larry Boyle. Sebastian Martin just cannot stay on that back bumper. Just pushes up just a little bit. Doesn't want to push too hard on the right-hand corner. We've seen that already with Seth Groover getting turned around earlier because of that. It's taking their time as we come to lap 74. Now Botello gets himself pushed out to the front here. But here comes Sebastian Martin again on that high side, trying to take that lead away. Looks like he's going to clear the 7 here. He's going to drag the 63 along with him. And it looks like Josh Millam as well. And the 3 of them are going to clear Botello and move themselves into the lead. Here comes Everett Lane again on that 3rd lane, trying to make something happen. Now he gets the 0-1 of Groover up there in that 3rd lane, and I'm sure we're going to see those guys come to the front here as Josh Mill pushing Logan Helton around Sebastian Martin back into the lead. And Botello now looking to that 3rd lane. He sees Everett and Groover up there. See the 42. That's Giovanni trying to get something going as well here. Got some new players up to the front as we're back to 3 wide, and as much damage as Justin Botello has, able to lead that high line, but I don't think it's going to work too well for him, as you see the front of that car is heavily damaged, and that high lane starting to fall back as Groover thought better of it. Jumps down to the middle lane, see if he's going to jump up in front of Botello. Now he's going to stay right there as Logan Helton back to the front with Sebastian Martin on the outside. Here comes Groover to the 3rd lane. All by himself, though. No help. Trying to get someone to go with him. And with no help, Patrick's just going to fall back. And you can see them. He's getting freight trained just a bit right now on that 3rd lane. Everett Lane, though, also been wanting to work that 3rd lane. He's starting to make his way up there. If Botello trying to work that 3rd lane again as well. I think Botello's starting to realize that with that damage on that car, he's just not able to lead that 3rd lane. But as I say that, he jumps back out to the high side, trying to get someone to go with him. Here comes Groover and Lane to that 3rd lane. Groover trying to push Botello best he can. Look at Crystal King up into the 4th position. Quietly made her way up there. And now she's pushing Sebastian Martin. Trying to push him into the lead so she can get herself up there. But here comes Botello now on the outside. I say he was slow with that damage. But with Groover behind him, they're starting to go places. As we are just under 50 laps to go here. Still 3x3x3. Trying to make something happen. Let's take a look at our pit strategy here. These guys have been out there for 23 laps. I'm sure fuel and pit stops are on these guys' minds coming up pretty soon. Within the next 10 laps or so. But Groover and Botello still trying to make that high lane work. Looks like if they had 1 or 2 more cars up there, they'd be able to get something going, but everybody seems to just be content riding in line right now. As Crystal King has moved herself into the 2nd position, pushing Marin. in that middle lane. And she's got Giovanni right behind her. Here comes Helton back on the bottom side, showing that strength with that great push from Josh Millam. And you see the rest of the field still single file way in the back. Those guys are just, looks like they're just trying to ride back there, but also sitting back there on the, being able to run the bottom line and be in line like that, they're saving a little bit of fuel if something was to happen. I know there's no way they can make it to the end here, but the less fuel you have to take, that's the less time you have on pit road. The less time you have on pit road, the better chance you have of being out in front of the field is. Looks like Groover and Batella have given up on that third lane. Well, Batello's still trying to make that third lane happen, but nobody to do it with. But just behind him is Jimmy Crow Jr. We know Jimmy likes to run that third lane. Nope, I take that back. That is Les Levy, who Les and Jimmy are running very identical paint jobs, so it's tough to tell them apart a little bit sometimes. I do apologize. As we're coming to work lap number 82 of 125 laps here at Talladega. And the excitement is starting to ramp up now, as everybody's starting to jockey for position. Again, I imagine green flag pit stops are coming pretty quickly, as everybody's starting to get down to the bottom, starting to get single file. So I imagine we should see some pit stops within the next couple laps. Nope, still staying out here. Logan Helton still holding the lead here. But how about the job Crystal King has done, moving herself up in the 4th place, up 29 positions. Same with Les Levy, up 29 positions. A couple drivers making some big moves through the field. Put themselves in contention to win the big money tonight here at Talladega. A little further back, Botello trying to get to the high side again. He's got David Bingle now in that 3rd lane trying to make something happen, but Bingle's going to tuck back into that middle lane. Give him that little bit of a fake out. Say, yeah, I'll go with you. And then pulls back down and goes, no, I won't. So see if he can gain a couple positions here. I'm surprised more cars in the back haven't tried to make a big run up to the front. But again, pit stops will be coming up very soon, and that can change the whole complexity of this race. Being able to get on and off the pit road can make or break your race here. Still no takers. It looks like these guys are starting to get real content just running in line, logging some laps as we coming down to the nitty gritty of the end of the race here. No reason to push too hard or force any errors, make any mistakes. You don't want to end your day because of a silly push or a bump draft gone wrong. like we've already seen a couple times tonight. Oh, and there we go. A couple cars coming on pit road. Dude Conrad hitting pit road along with... It's like, oh, we got an issue coming on pit road. These cars are spinning around. That's the 6. I see Gabe Butler get on the pit road, but man, Bud Steele having some issues getting on the pit road there. So we'll put the map up so you can see where everybody's running when they come off of pit road. As the field is just entering turns 3, and yeah, dude's down and away, along with Gabe Butler. See if anybody else hits pit road here this time. No takers. Fortunately, a couple cars still on pit road getting that damage fixed. Raymond Rittner, who had such a strong run at the beginning of the race. Tracy Weaver and Bud Steele all having issues, as we see Dude Conrad getting lapped here. And Gabe Butler way out in front all by himself, and you do not want to be by yourself here coming off a pit road, because you're only going to be, your speed is so much less than those cars in the draft. These guys are doing almost 200 miles an hour by themselves. We see 193, 194 for Helton, our leader. Then you look at Gabe Butler running by himself, 178, 179. So tough for him, as you see the field just coming up on him fast as we ride along with the back bumper. You see those cars starting to catch him. So they go around the 6 of Steele. Now they catch Butler. Anybody else going to pit here? No takers of pit road this time. Butler does the gentleman, very gentleman-like, getting down on the apron, letting these cars get by, allowing them to race for position and not have to worry about being in their way. But these lap cars did shake up the lines just a little bit, as Sebastian Marin has no help now. Everybody's getting single file. I imagine we're going to see a bunch of people come on the pit road now, as everybody's starting to get single file here to get on the pit road. And here they all come. Oh, a little wreck behind. That was Jeffrey Clifton having some issues getting on the pit lane. A couple cars. Crystal King misses her pit stall completely, has to back up. That's going to lose her a ton of time. It's not only the top 10 cars still on track. Seth Groover, Everett Lane, Giovanni, Stefan Osecki, Paul Witt, David Bingle, Brian Wang, Riley Roush, Chris Davis, Colin Bauer, staying out. Will they be coming in this time by? Here a few of them come. Oh, big lockup from Groover coming on the pit road. Don't know if he got slowed down enough. As we were saying before, mistakes on pit road can be costly. Have to see if Groover gets out. You'll see where it says pit in red. That means he's in the pit. Once he starts rolling, 13-1. That means he did not pit on speed on pit road, so he was able to get down. So now these cars up front here. The 30 of Riley Roush, your leader, They be coming on the pit road this time. No, they're going to stay out. So Roush and them trying to stretch this fuel a little bit further. As we see the 429. .429 and the 6 there on the bottom. They are lap down cars, but they're trying to make everything they can happen here. And still the leaders stay out. I take that back. Paul Witt in the 429 is not a lap down. He's on the lead lap. He was battling for position with Riley Roush. Riley Roush, the 30 on your ticker, but the 02 on the screen. As we see those 3 Untitled cars all lined up on the high side. Couple of the regulators out there as well. Everett Lane and Paul Witt. We see them run together on Tuesday nights and make things happen. And right now the field is incredibly spread out due to these green flag pit stops. So you can see little groups all over the track. Tracy Weaver leading one group. 63. Who's a lap down leading. I'm sorry, Logan Helton. That's not Logan Helton. He's not a lap down. But he is just barely in front of this lead group right now. So once these top 10 cars come in, or top 7 cars come in and pit, that'll give Helton back the lead. But the real question is, when do these guys plan on pitting? Doesn't look like anytime soon because they're 3 wide back here. We see the that is the 30 of Riley Roush, Chris Davis, and Colin Bauer. Those 3 Untitled cars getting lined up on the bottom. I imagine they're probably going to be coming in this time to pit. Well, with along with everybody else here who has not pit, because I imagine they got to be pretty close to running on fumes here. Here comes Paul Witt. Yep, here comes everybody else on the pit lane. A big lockup from Everett Lane. And I don't believe Everett got on the pit road. Oh, the 39 goes around in front of the 20. They made contact. That is not what these guys were looking to do. Again, mistakes on pit lane can cost you. As we see Logan Helton and Daniel Holloway battling side by side. This is your battle for the lead. Giovanni and the 42 and David Bingle did stay out. They are currently your leaders. But you're going to see these guys going right on by Will Witt and them, who just pit. Luke G says, I'm liking Riley's chances. Riley was the one that had a great pit stop there. He was able to get out. As Giovanni and Dave Bingle now hit pit road, and this is going to be your lead pack. And again, as we're approaching lap 100, we're going to have just 25 laps to go coming up here soon. These guys are still racing pretty mildly. Just trying to log some laps. They know that it's a long time till the end of the race. You don't want to do anything silly. Oh, as the 21 gets a big bump from the 63, which sends him down the apron, he's able to come back up. And that's the kind of silliness that they're trying to avoid. Any kind of a bad bump draft that would send the car around. It's not what these guys are looking to do here. So with the money on the line to finish first, you must first finish. Now, unfortunately, Riley's help did wreck on pit road. Riley is currently sitting back in the 13th position. He's about 13 seconds back behind the pack. As these guys are still running hard, they're catching some lap traffic here. Some slower cars. And when you're catching these slower cars at such a closing rate, you're going 20 miles an hour faster, it can cause some problems here. It looks like our these guys are going to hop to the high side and let the leaders go by. These guys and gals, I should say, as Crystal King is involved in that as well. Oh, big move by Justin Botello. Justin's going to put himself in the lead, get a little draft from those slower cars. He's able to put himself out there. Now the 21 of Holloway jumps up in front of Logan Helton, and he's going to get a push back around Botello. Botello, though, get a great push here from Josh Millam. And just outside of them, the 23. That's Sebastian Myron, but he is actually a lap down at this point, so he is not racing for position. But even though he's a lap down, he can be a player here at the end. Not by winning the race, but by pushing someone to the win. As we're getting ready to come through the tri-oval here. Oh, I take it back. I thought we were on the front stretch. We're coming through turns 3 and 4 now. And as we cross the line this time by, we'll have just 25 laps to go. Oh, big wiggle out of the 63 with a bad bump from the 23. They're able to keep it going straight. As they come across the line with just 25 laps to go. Botello pushing Holloway on that bottom line. Now Botello jumps up to the high side in front of the 63 of Helton. He's going to try to get that big push back to the front. And Botello is going to clear him. The 63 jumps to the bottom, gets around Botello. That's going to put Logan Helton back into the lead. So Logan using Botello to push him up there. The yellow is out. Have to see what brought our yellow flag out as we'll take a look at our Wreckage Rewind here. Oh, a little further back in the pack. You see Larry Boyle running with this pack of cars back here. Gets a bad bump going into the corner. You can push, but pushing into the corner is not what you want to do. Gabe Butler gets in the back of him. Unfortunately, he sends him up into the 429 of Paul Witt. An unfortunate turn of events, that's what brings out the yellow. Well, that changes everything, because now you're going to bring the field back together. It looks like we only got about 17 cars on the lead lap. And those guys who had the bad pit stop, Riley Roush had a good pit stop, but his teammates had some issues. Now they're all going to be able to catch back up to this pack. And this changes the whole complexity of the race. Mark Mann hit. So a couple cars hitting pit road. Mark Mann, Les Levy, Dude Conrad, Jimmy Crow, Paul Witt, all on pit road. And when we restart, we're going to have just about 20 laps to go. So Logan Helton out in the lead here with Daniel Holloway, Justin Botello, Josh Millam, Patrick Ruver, Stefan Asecki. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. I try to say names best I can. Randy Miner, Brian Wang, Riley Rouse, and Gabe Butler up into your top 10. Again, this is Jimmy Crow Sr. Talladega 125, brought to you by Fort Worth Screen Printing here on Intensity Broadcasting. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you haven't already, like, follow, subscribe. We do broadcast races 5 nights a week. Usually don't broadcast on Saturday nights, but this race was supposed to be on Max Speed TV. Unfortunately, Bobby had a family emergency, so we were able to jump in at the last second and bring you this race tonight. So hopefully everything is all right with his family. Our thoughts and prayers are with Bobby tonight over on Max Speed TV. But again, I enjoy calling these races. And another little thing that we do here on Intensity Broadcasting, we have a partnership with eRacing TV. That's eSpace Racing TV on both the Fire Stick and the Roku TV. It's an app. It's a free app you can download. You can actually watch these sim races on your big screen instead of having to watch on your computer or on your smart TV other ways. You can watch it right there through that app. So check that out. We have over 100,000 subscribers on that platform. So just another way to watch some e-racing. It's kind of cool. It's a new app that we've been promoting. We've been fortunate enough to join with us in the Original Rebels Racing League broadcast on there. So you'll see that on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Sundays with us, as well as we broadcast right after the Super Speedway Kings on Tuesday nights. So check that out after you watch these guys run the Super Speedways. You can check out the iOS Cup Series on Tuesdays, the iOS Truck Series on Wednesdays, our Dirt Series on Thursday, and Original Rebels on Sunday. So check that out. And again, Monday night we have a couple races as well. I believe we have a late model race that's going to be joining us on Monday nights along with the iOS ARCA Series. So we got some more plans coming up in the future. We have our Intensity Racing League starting back up on Wednesdays with late model races. Some of the best late model racers on iRacing and Real Racing will be there on Wednesdays starting at 7:30. Last year's champion of that league was Brendan Butterball Queen, the Hampton Heat winner from last year. So it's kind of cool to see these real life late model racers coming out there and running with us. Again, I'm trying not to take too much away from Max Speed TV because I know they were supposed to broadcast tonight, but I got to promote my guys as well. So Luke says he wish he could have pulled off the Heat win and been in the show. Yeah, Luke, I know it's a tough race overall, but hopefully you're enjoying the broadcast as well right now. But the lights on the pace car are off. We're getting ready to go back green flag racing with just 21 laps to go when they cross the line here. Logan Helton and Daniel Holloway make up the front row here. Pace car pulls off, takes that hard left-hand turn. As they approach the restart zone. And the green flag's back in the air. And a side-by-side battle for the lead already as these guys are battling hard for that top spot with just 21 laps to go. 21 of Daniel Holloway, though, has the good push right now. Logan Helton, even though he's in the lead, doesn't have really any help right now as Botello now starting to come to that back bumper to give him the push. And that bottom lane looks like it's going to start moving now as they come rocketing down the backstretch. Daniel Holloway still in the lead in that 21 machine. But here comes Logan Helton on that bottom side. Both cars getting pushed by a 7 car right now as Botello, the 7 on the screen, 64 on the ticker. As they cross the line this time, 20 laps to go. Now we've got some movement on that high side as Gabe Butler's jumped up there now with a push from Dude Conrad and Everett Lane up on that third lane as well. Now we got some action coming. There's the 41 of Tracy Weaver as well on that high side. Gabe Butler always there at the end, always trying to make things exciting here as he's got a great push from Dude Conrad. Dude, all over the back bumper of the 88. As they come through turns 3 and 4, can Gabe Butler get clear here? Here comes that middle lane back with some energy. That bottom lane, the 63 getting all out of shape from the 7. Patrick Groover also right there in the mix, trying to make something happen. Now the intensity is starting to get ramped up. Oh, one car up into the wall. That looked like Everett Lane having some issues, but he's able to keep it going. I also see Jimmy Crow just pulled off track. Not sure what happened to him as the 21 Daniel Holloway jumps down to the bottom with that push from Josh Millam, and he's going to take over the lead here. Here comes Gabe Butler, though, on that high side as that middle lane starting to lose some energy here. So they were almost just 4 wide for a second, but back to 3 wide. Josh Millam trying to get a push from the 088 of Stefan Osecki. He was up here in the lead earlier, Osecki was. Now he's trying to give a good push here to Millam. To get Millam out in the lead, here comes Gabe Butler again on the high side with a great push from Dude Conrad. Dude knows how to push. I've been pushed by Dude many a times. He can get you up to the front there. So he's doing everything he can to give Gabe. Oh, Gabe gets loose. Oh, they get turned. Big wreck. Yellow is out. Man, oh man, there was a lot to digest right there because there was quite a few, looks like 3 or 4 different wrecks happening at the same time here. As we take a look here to see exactly what happened, and we see Gabe Butler shoot up the track a little bit. The 088 comes down, turns the 07. The 21, oh man, our leader gets taken out. Normally the leader is where you want to be. Gabe gets a piece of that as well. Right behind him, Groover gets caught up in that as well. He gets through. 41 of Tracy Weaver gets going over as well. Let's see if we can rewind a little bit and see. Botello caught up in that as well with the 088. Groover actually gets through it. It's the 07 of Brian Wang. I thought it was Groover, but no, it was the 07. Got a little loose, but he gets through it. Randy Miner caught up in that as well. The 39 of Chris Davies. He's going to get through that just barely. Tough break for a lot of these guys getting caught up in that. Let's see if what I'd like to do is take a ride with Chris Davies here on his roll bar, because we can see exactly what he saw. Is it was just mayhem. But surprise, surprise, our current leader, Patrick Groover, making it through that wreck and getting into the lead. So just 16 laps ago, Patrick Groover, Dude Conrad, Brian Wang moving up into the third spot. Dave Bingle, Les Levy, Mark Mann, always there at the end in the 04. Paul Witt, Josh Millam fell back to 8th place. Sebastian Marin back in this after being a lap down. And Stefan Osecki, who has some damage from that. I'm sure he's going to have to go in and pit. Dude, going down to take out that blue cone. Dude, what did the cone do to you? As the laps are winding down, tell me who you're pulling for here at the end. Who you think is going to pull out the win here? As we've seen, anything can happen. Even being the leader isn't a safe place. Usually you want to be the leader. But right now, even the leaders are having some issues. Checker Flag Motorsports says the 62 or the 4 is going to win this. Sorry, the 62 or the 04. That's either Les Levy or Mark Mann. Seth Groover says, nah, Patrick's got the money, no problem. Karen says, dang cone. Dave Freeman says, I didn't tune in early enough to see what happened. Karen Groover's rooting for the 01. There's a big wreck there. The leader actually got turned up in front of the field. And we got a few tore up race cars, but a few really strong race cars out there. As we're going to have just 15 laps to go to settle this here at Talladega. If you're just tuning in, my name's Josh Hall with Intensity Broadcasting, bringing you the Jimmy Crow Senior Talladega 125 from Talladega, brought to you by Fort Worth Screen Printing. Some big money on the line tonight, if you're just joining us. $225 to the winner, $125 for second, and $90 for third. As Luke G is calling for the 21 to be the winner now. That's Daniel Holloway. He's sitting back in 20th place right now. I believe he's actually a lap down. The 21 is, so. But when they take the green flag here with just 14 laps to go, Luke G is only rooting for the 21 because he owes him money apparently. So that makes sense. I'd be rooting for the guy that owes me money too. Les Levy also running that Jimmy Crow paint job along with the 429 of Paul Witt. Some beautiful paint jobs on these cars out here. I'm a sucker for paint jobs, I'm not going to lie. As someone that paints all their cars for their teammates, I know the love that goes in. But now we're getting ready to go green flag racing again as the pace car takes that hard left-hand turn onto pit road. Can we keep it green for 15 laps? Is there going to be another shakeup? We'll find out momentarily as the field comes through the tri-oval here. Getting ready to hit the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Patrick Groover with a good jump here. Dude Conrad, side by side. Neither one of them with really any help. There's some separation between the front two cars. Let's see how that plays out here as they come through turns 1 and 2. Who's going to get the help first? It looks like Conrad's going to get the bumper first. As they come through 1 and 2. Again, these cars take about a lap and a half to get wound up here. As Botello already making it 3 wide down the backstretch, trying to make something happen. You see the 13 of David Bingle really laying the back bumper to Dude Conrad. Now he falls off a little bit in the corner. Looked like he was a little afraid to push in the corner here as they're getting up the speed. That's going to allow Groover and Brian Wang to stretch their lead out here in the front as the 62 of Les Levy. He's also going to come along. Dude Conrad falling back with really no love on that side. Here comes Wang to the middle lane in front of Conrad. A little bit of a wreck behind Giovanni. Oh, more wreck. Yellow is out. We got one car flipping through the corner. Looked like the 63 having some issues, as that's going to bring up our Wreckage Rewind yet again. We'll have to see exactly where this started here. I see Giovanni came up on my screen first here. Oh, contact. Whoops, sorry about that. Hit the wrong button on my fast forward instead of slow motion. And Giovanni gets up into the... Trying to see, that's a 63. 63 comes back across into Giovanni, who comes sliding down, just misses the 6 of Bud Steele. And then while that was happening, I saw this trying to dial him up here on my screen. It was the 063. Well, actually happened just in front of him. It's the 39 machine of Chris Davies. I'll have to rewind and see exactly what happened to Davies here. As Davies made a little bit of contact with Everett. Everett Lane got loose, came down in Davies. Davies went for a wild ride here. So a couple wrecks there to tighten back up the field and have another green start. But Brian Wang up into the lead. Checker Flag Motorsports, I'm not sure who you are. I do appreciate you saying I have a nice truck. I've worked really hard on, like I said, painting up the paint jobs for the Intensity Broadcasting Racing team. So I do appreciate the shout out there for the good looking truck. I try. So when we go back green flag racing, we're going to have about 10 laps to go. Karen says she has a headache. I can understand completely. It's stressful having Patrick up there, but he's sitting in a good spot in that second place right now. I know personally, I like to be on a restart like this, not the leader, but sitting back a little bit because I'll be able to get that run. Being the leader, sometimes you can be a sitting duck out there. Depending on the type of headache, the couple medications I could prescribe you would be either Excedrin or Jack Daniels, one or the other. Those are my two favorite go-tos. Not at the same time, though. Not at the same time. Although checkered flag, Motorsports agrees both. So as we get re-racked here, lights on the pace car should be going off this time by. And then we'll have just 9 laps to settle it here at Talladega. So you see the car starting to get double file here. As the pace car crosses the line, the lights will go out. 1 more lap till we go back green flag racing. And I apologize, I'm the bad announcer. I didn't check to see how many green-white checker attempts there would be if needed. I know there's a couple guys watching who are in the race. So if anybody could let me know how many green-white checkers we might have if that happens. Not that I'm hoping for that, because I'm not. I never want to see a green-white checker. I like to see them race to the end. 2 of them. Thank you. I knew what the money was. That was the important part. The green-white checker I wasn't too sure about. So... So if needed, we'll have 2 attempts at a green-white checker. But when they cross the line here and take the green flag, we'll have just 9 laps to go. Brian Wang, Patrick Ruver, your front row in those 2 mean green machines. Dude Conrad, Les Levy in the second row. Then Mark Mann and David Bingle making up row 3. Mark Mann always seems to sneak in and be at the end of these races no matter what. You never really talk about him all day long. And then when the last 15 laps come up, boom, he's right there at the end. And that car looks clean. Doesn't look like it has a scratch on it. Behind him, we're going to have the 7 of Josh Millam and the 64, or 7 on your screen, of Justin Botello. And then row 5, Paul Witt and Gabe Butler. Don't count Gabe out. Gabe's out on that high side there. We know he likes to hang out high, wide, and handsome, especially here at Talladega. I wouldn't be surprised to see him mixing it up here at the end. As the pace car takes that left turn on the pit road. And Brian Wang brings him to the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. And Patrick Groover gets the really good jump on the high side. Almost catches Brian Wang sleeping there. He's going to be able to pull down in front of Brian and take the lead. And as long as the green flag's out, that second place car, if that first place car does not go, he did not jump the restart. He just got a better restart, and he moved himself out into the front here. And Brian Wang, I'm sure he's kicking himself for that bad restart. As you see Gabe Butler moving back and forth, already moving up. Here comes the 62 of Les Levy. He's trying to make something. He's got David Bingle on his back bumper. And here comes Botello to push Bingle. But up front right now, Patrick Groover, Brian Wang, and Dude Conrad. I wouldn't be surprised to see Dude pop up in front of the 62 here, but he does not. 62 and Bingle have a great run here down through the tri-oval. And Conrad trying to make that third lane work. 8 laps to go here at Talladega. And again, Groover out in the lead, but I don't know how much he wants to be in that lead because, again, you could be a sitting duck. But Groover's a smart driver. He's looking in his mirror. I'm sure he's seeing if the energy's coming. He might come up there and try to block that lane. But right now, he's just happy to have Brian Wang give him that big push down the backstretch. Les Levy moving up into the second spot with that big push from Botello. Botello trying to make something happen here as he's got Dude Conrad to the inside. Now Gabe Butler again. He's got that 63 machine pushing him on that high side. Just not able to go anywhere. They need a couple more cars up there. Looks like Tracy Weaver and the 23 of Sebastian Marin jumping up to the high side up there with the 088. So now Butler starting to get a little bit of a run here on the high side. He's already up to the outside of Bingle as they come through turns 1 and 2. Botello seeing that. I don't know if he's going to try to jump up there in front of Butler. Levy seeing Butler coming on that high side, starting to throw a little bit of a block, but now he's going to go down and pinch Groover as they come down the front stretch. Levy getting really loose off the front bumper of Botello there. But now they're 3 wide again for the lead. Groover jumps up to that middle lane, sees that momentum coming from the middle, jumps up and tries to block it. Oh, Botello turns this. Dude Conrad down on the apron. We are still racing. No yellow. We are 4 wide as they're bouncing off each other. That's going to put Brian Wang into the lead. Groover falling back just a bit now as Groover makes the jump down to the bottom. Botello down on the bottom side. Here comes the middle lane. Oh, we got a wreck in the back. Big wreck. Yellow is out. As Sebastian Marin out of nowhere is going to take the lead. Oh, Dude Conrad turns Botello into Groover. Randy Minor involved. I'm not sure what happened right there, but we're going to have to take a look at our Wreckage Rewind. I don't think Dude Conrad was real pleased with the way Botello was running right there. And bear with me for a second while I try to dial up exactly what happened. Actually, it happened behind Botello. That happened with the, looks like the 039 of Chris Davis, as well as, let's see if we can dial this back up and take a look from the chopper here. Oh, it looks like the 7 got turned. By, I think that was the 62 of Les Levy. Yes, it was. And the 20 goes of Colin Bauer goes for a wild ride. And then while all that was happening, it looked like not really sure what happened there between Dude and Botello. Unfortunately, it got Patrick Groover. I don't know if Patrick Groover had another reset left in the bank or if that's going to be it for him tonight. Let's see when he comes into his pit stall here if that car snaps back into shape. Patrick had a reset in the bank. Looks like Crystal King had a reset she was saving for the end of the race as well, as her car's back in the shape. So I'll tell you what, couple cars that were players earlier got caught up in some stuff and got sent to the end. There are going to be some players now. The question is Botello, he's still all tore up here. I don't think he had a reset left, so unfortunate for him. I don't see him being a player here at the end. So Sebastian Marin up into the lead, was a lap down, made his way back on the lead lap, started in the rear. Now he's back up to the front here. Man, this is going to be an exciting finish here. Yeah, Karen, wow, what happened is for sure. You thought he was out of it. He was able to save a reset. So these guys do have one reset. He was able to keep it in the bank and save it to the end. And now I'm sure he's going to be driving up to the front with a vengeance. Just give me 1 sec. I'm going to put myself on mute for a second. I will be right back with you folks in just a second. All right, folks, back with you. Just had to put you on mute. Had to put my daughter to bed, say goodnight to her, being the father that I am. Try to be a good father. As we have just 3 laps to go. So this will be an unofficial attempt at a green-white checker here. As sounds like we had a little mix-up in the back there. Couple cars checking up, and couple cars getting together there. But it looks like everybody's going to figure it out now. Get themselves back to racing here. Yeah, I see some extracurricular activities in the back, and I knew coming down to the end of this, anytime you have a money race, sometimes people don't get too happy with each other. I always say there's 3 sides to every incident. You have one driver's side, you have the other driver's side, and you have the truth. So these guys, I'm sure, will hash it out after the race, scream at each other and talk it out, and be back to being friends again for next Tuesday. Seth, thank you. I appreciate it. I try to do what I can, especially being alone, but I like to help you guys out and be able to broadcast this race for you guys tonight. But Sebastian Martin up in the lead with Brian Wang in the outside. Gabe Butler moving himself into the 3rd spot with Stefan Osecki in the 4th spot. Dude Conrad, David Bingle make up row number 3. Mark Mann, Paul Witt, Dennis Holloway, Bud Steele, your top 10. As the lights on the pace car are off, the pace car is getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. And we're going to have a little bit of a green-white checker, unofficial green-white checker, but a green-white checker here as Sebastian Martin leads them down into the restart zone. Green flag in the air. And a great jump here from Sebastian. But Brian Wang also getting a good start here, as he's already starting to get to the outside of Sebastian as they're side by side into turn 1. Gabe Butler giving the bumper here to Sebastian. 3 wide, cars hitting the apron in the back, trying to make everything, trying to get every last position. You see Patrick Groover already on the high side in that 3rd lane, dragging that train along. And now Gabe Butler up into the 2nd spot. Imagine coming off of turn number 3. If I was him, I'd jump up into that high side in front of the 07 and have him push me by the 23. Let's see what he's going to do here coming off the corner. He's going to stay with him. He's going to stay with that 23 as they come through the tri-oval. We'll see the white flag as they cross the line. White flag is in the air. Who's it going to be? Sebastian, oh, big wreck behind Dude Conrad involved. Stefan Osecki, but up front, we still have Sebastian Martin, Gabe Butler, Dave Bingle, Brian Wang. Who's it going to be? The field spreads out just a little bit, but up front, You've got Sebastian Marin. Gabe Butler all over his back bumper. Is Gabe going to be able to jump up and try to take it? Here comes the third day of Bingle. Bingle pushes up the track just a little bit. Dude Conrad all over the 23. Is he going to make the move? Coming here. The 23 goes high. Dude Conrad goes low. Oh, they're sliding. They're wrecking as they come across the line. The winner will be Gabe Butler with the win. Brian Wang, Sebastian Martin are your top three. But Gabe Butler taking the win tonight. What a finish at the end. So much going on. We're going to have to, actually want to wind that back. I know it's going to say Wreckage Rewind, but I want to rewind the last lap here. Not last lap, but last few corners. Because I'll tell you what, that was some incredible racing here. As we take a look from the chopper view. One last time, the replay of the win here. Gabe Butler looks to the high side. Sebastian Marin's going to block the high side. Gabe goes low, gets a little contact from Bingle. Contact from Sebastian too forces Gabe down below the yellow line. And that's going to let Gabe slide in there and take the win. Is there still 3 wide? And there's your winner, Gabe Butler. What a finish. Incredible. Let's take a look at the full race results. Oh. Guess a couple cars still on track. Haven't come across the line just yet, so the race has not gone official just yet. Bear with me just a second as I try to get the results to pop up on my screen. Well, Gabe Butler, Brian Wang, Sebastian Martin, Paul Witt, Colin Bauer comes back to finish top 5. David Bingle, Chris Davis, Patrick Groover, Les Levy, and Bud Steele are going to make up your top 10. I do apologize for not being able to get the results to pop up on the screen here. Oh, here they come. Look at that. We're going to see if we can interview our top 3 drivers. While we do that, I'm just going to flip over to our video while I get things all situated on my side. So what a wild finish here at Talladega Super Speedway. I've got your winner here in the booth with me tonight, Gabe Butler. Gabe, congratulations on the win. What a wild finish there. I know it was quite a mess for the beginning of the race, but you're able to pull it off at the end and get the win. What was your strategy tonight? Was it just to stay out of trouble? Because I saw at the beginning of the race you were kind of hanging back a bit.
Yeah, basically such a long race like this, just kind of stay in the back and stay patient and work from there, and then close to the end, the last quarter of the race, start try to gain some positions, and try and take it as we get it. Got lucky there at the end. It was a hell of a finish there. Got Paul Witt got in behind me and was able to push me across there. I've headed the '07 and the 23, so I mean it was fun. It was an awesome race.
Yeah, Sebastian went up there, threw a nasty block on you to the high side. You went to the low side, made some contact, and were able to hold on to it. And man, that was just an incredible finish. I always ask anybody you'd like to thank tonight, any sponsors or shout outs you want to give?
Big shout out to all the guys that put money into this. I know John Garrett put a chunk of change in here, and a number of other fellas. And thank you for hosting at the last second there. That was awesome of you. And I appreciate Jimmy. And of course, this was in memory of his dad. A bunch of us raced at Crow's Nest and always enjoyed that. Uh, he was kind of a racing legend, if you want to put it that way. Not to mention a family legend and a military veteran. So all due respect to the Crow family, and I'm just thrilled that I won this thing. I really am.
For sure, as someone who and you yourself have run F&D for a long time, and for me to be one of the original members of the F&D family, I know Jimmy Crow Jr. and Senior used to run in there quite a bit, and it was just awesome to have this event in memory of him. And I'm honored to be able to call it for you guys tonight. It was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, we all appreciate it, Josh. I know it was last minute, but I mean, everybody in here appreciates it, and it just shows the level of respect the man had, the amount of people that showed up to race in this. And just one last shout out to my teammates, Team Bootnaka. Be nowhere without those guys, and of course, shout out to F&D too. Miss racing with those guys.
For sure. I know we've been talking about getting some stuff back together, and hopefully we can do that soon. And maybe put I know not to toot any horns or take anything away. I know we do have the Monty Noise. Um, we want to do another Monty Noise memorial race in his memory as well. So sure Rob will be getting some information out on that as well. I'm sure Intensity will be broadcasting that again, and be looking forward to racing with you guys again. I enjoy racing with you guys on Tuesday nights. It's a lot of fun. I know Bobby missed it tonight. Hopefully everything's good with him. Thoughts and prayers to his family again, and thanks for having me tonight, guys.
I appreciate it, Josh. Thanks, man.
Jimmy, I see you're here in here as well. Thank you for putting on such a great race tonight. Fantastic race tonight. Fantastic finish. You couldn't ask for that.
Good win, Gabe. And again, big thanks to Intensity Broadcasting and Josh, of course, y'all doing this on short notice. Thank y'all so much. Yeah, it was one heck of a race. Got a little hectic, but it is what it is. Good win, Gabe. And again, appreciate everybody coming out and racing. I will be participating in that Monty race. And let's have a good one, guys. Appreciate everybody watching.
For sure. Especially when there's money on the line, you can always expect things to get wild and hairy out there, especially towards the end. But again, congratulations to Gabe with the big win. Brian Wang coming home second, and Sebastian Marin rounding out your podium. So, again, thank you guys for joining us here on Intensity Broadcasting. My name's Josh Hall. For myself and everybody here at Intensity Broadcasting, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and join us almost every night of the race week for some exciting racing. And as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say, over and out.